What's going on, everybody? We are back. We're here with episode 1 of our new Talkin' Hoop series. We have finished up with levels and we're moving on here. So, this series, we're just going to be talking everything hoops. This episode specifically, we're going to be diving into the Nuggets OKC series. Arguably the best series so far of the playoffs, in what has been probably one of the best playoffs we've had in a few years, I would say.
Yep, definitely the most parity, definitely the most teams that are contenders in a good little bit.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, we got OKC Nuggets going to Game 7 Sunday. Then, of course, the Wolves beat the Warriors the other day.
Wrap
We
that up.
got Pacers beat the Cavs, and then we have Nuggets.
Celtics,
Celtics Knicks, excuse me.
and that's going into
Game
uh,
6, I
game
believe.
six. Should be at the Garden.
Yep.
I would say, and actually saying at the Garden doesn't tell you what arena is it's at in that series, but either way,
That's
uh,
a good point.
yeah, I've got I think Knicks take game six and they wrap
I
it up at
agree.
I think they got dogs over there. Losing Jason Tatum is tough, and I've actually been a big Tatum hater because I sort of see him as like an overdog, if that makes sense, as opposed to an underdog. I know no one says
Yeah,
overdog,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but
No, it's a
he's an
good take.
overdog, and it's yeah, Duke guy. Then you go to the Celtics, and you're the man the whole time. There's never a doubt in your ability ever in your career. You're always really good, and it's like, bro, fuck off, be more shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just like a little, or like have a scandal or something. Like he's such a perfect guy,
yeah, he's
perfect.
kind of corny, to be
Kind
honest.
of corny. It's like, bro, have some like personality that makes you like,
Like
you
he's
know.
doing all that Kobe shit. Like,
Yeah, I hated all that. But with that being said, I'm hating on him too much because he's never had a scandal. He didn't play in the USA
that's right.
Olympics, and he handled that very well. He didn't complain. He didn't knock his teammates. And as a superstar, I respect that a lot. So uh, that's good stuff. And I would say, yeah, Knicks in six because Tatum is hurt.
Yeah, I think if they don't win Game 6 and it goes back to Boston,
Celtics
it's,
win.
it's not looking good.
Celtics win. If it goes back to TD Garden, then you're going to get a Jaylen Brown masterclass, 3-point barrage, because the Celtics shoot so many threes that there will be games, like an individual 48-minute segment you'll play against them, that you just don't have a chance of winning. Because
Yeah,
they will just shoot it way too well, and you can perfectly game plan. And if they just have an on night, you don't have a chance, in my opinion.
yeah, I agree.
But let's get right into this Nugget series because I mean we've been watching every game and like this is just really competitive basketball and just the fuel of the MVP narrative. I think
Oh,
really just making it just an electric series.
yeah, I wanna touch on that first. Just because it's been really bothering me, but the fact that there's still cats saying Shea is the MVP blows my mind. It is unbelievable. Like, dude, I saw a post on Instagram last night after the game, and it was Shea's stat line and then Jokic's stat line. Forget whatever it was. Jokic had like 28, 14, and 8 or something, and then Shea had like 32, 4, and 5 or something like that, right? And obviously the Nuggets won. And like no matter what I find is no matter the outcome of the game, whether OKC wins or loses, whether Jokic has the better stat line or not, which majority of the time he does,
Uh,
they're still gonna say, "Oh yeah, Shea's the clear MVP." It's like, dude, like what game are you watching? Not to
I
take
think
anything away from Shea, obviously he's great,
uh,
but
he's nasty, but I think that what it comes down to is that people confuse what value means. They
a
don't know what,
hundred percent,
right?
hundred
Like
percent.
most valuable player doesn't mean nastiest. It's the dude who's the most valuable to like being an effective team that wins.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And then
exactly.
the argument is, oh, OKC won more regular season games, right? So value is determined by winning and success, and there is something to that. But then when you look at the stat lines, you look at who's contributing to winning more as an individual,
For sure.
right? And Jokic is just filling the stat sheet, right? I want to give it to Shea just because I know he might not have a season like this necessarily again, or maybe not build on it, or an injury XYZ. So his window might be smaller than Jokic. So, and I saw Shea's dad on a podcast, and he was like, "Bro, Jokic is nasty, bro. He's gonna get one, two more of those, bro. Give it to Shea for this year, you know." And I like that. I thought that was cool, but you can't. I don't like voter
Yeah,
fatigue.
except yeah, that's
No,
unfortunately I see what he's saying, but it shouldn't be working like that.
exactly. Like I
Most
thought it was
valuable
sweet. Like
player
it's
every year.
yeah, best player. Who's the most valuable? That's it.
And like even I posted a video to the HoopSimple account a few weeks ago talking about the debate, and I
Right.
posted this chart, and it was showing the plus minus with Jokic on and off the court. And it was like all the top superstars. And he was number one, like by a long shot. Like the
Right.
Nuggets are far better with him on the court and dog shit with him off the court.
Right. That plus minus is just like over the regular season. I don't know if you saw it. Jokic is, I believe, plus 12 on the next best person, who's Shea.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It was close to that. And it's like, that's so notable because guys will use the not having help narrative and say, guys are even saying that the Nuggets now have more of a supporting cast than OKC.
Yeah. Also, let's not forget OKC is the one seed, Denver's the four seed. Right? I
Right.
think a
And
lot of people have forgotten that.
but people are saying using that as an argument in favor of Shea being the MVP though. Because
No,
they're saying,
I'm saying like the Nuggets should be winning this series is what or sorry, I mean
okay,
OKC should
yeah,
be winning
right.
this series. They're the number
Yeah.
one seed. Like they had the best record by a mile. And I'm
Hmm.
saying this series is going to seven on Sunday.
And why is that? It's the MVP. That's why.
Is what I'm saying, right?
Because of the MVP. I mean, listen, maybe this is a biased podcast. Maybe we're an echo chamber, a Jokic echo chamber, but I don't know. I think that like it also comes down to overvaluing points as a statistic over other
Yes.
box score
Yes,
stats,
yes.
right? People underestimate that an assist is generating a basket and that the potential points on assists plus points is relevant in comparison to points, right? And I think that SGA averaged like two more points on the season, but then
Yeah, it's
Jokic
big
is
enough.
averaging what, four, five, four more assists?
Yeah, it's something like that, and then like
Right.
double the rebounds.
Get double the rebounds. And obviously rebounds are super important. But if you only look at assists, then you'd understand that if Jokic is down 2 points, but he's got four more assists, the potential points generated on four assists is as many as 12 points.
Yeah. I got the stats right here for the playoffs so far.
Yeah.
Jokic 24.9 points, 12.7 rebounds, 8.4 assists. And then Shea 27.6 points, 6.6 rebounds, 6.6 assists. Both really good stat lines.
Yeah.
Shea averages just over 2 points more per game. Jokic has almost double the rebounds and almost two more assists a game,
Okay, almost
right?
two more. So my apologies. But even still,
But that was for the playoffs specifically. Regular season is a little bit different.
regular
Um,
season's a larger margin, but even still, even two assists more than another player with two more points, I think you take that every time because of the
well,
potential points
yeah,
on a
yeah, exactly. But most people don't see it that way.
yeah,
Also, the fact that he's averaging more assists as a center is crazy too. Like,
so fake. Like, what are you talking about?
right? And
General
then
best player, Jokic is the best basketball player ever. Not the greatest. He's not the greatest of
nah,
all
it's not
time,
ridiculous to be
but
honest.
Jokic, in my opinion, and stamp it at me, whatever you want. Jokic is the best basketball player ever. The
Yeah,
best. The
I
greatest,
was
the best.
I was having a conversation last night because he's probably my favorite player to watch right now.
You too.
And just like his IQ's off the charts, he's probably one of the
Ridiculous.
smartest players to play the game. And also another thing too is compared to other superstars, like he does not get the same whistle whatsoever. Even
True.
compared to Shea, like Shea had quite a few um baloney flopping fouls that he got, and he
Yeah.
sort of has a reputation for that. But Jokic has done more in the league than Shea has, respectfully.
So
Right?
why isn't he getting those calls?
It doesn't make sense to me. And people are gonna say, yeah, Jokic flops too. 100% he does, without a doubt. Almost
Everybody
every
does.
NBA player flops and tries to sell calls without a
Yeah.
doubt. But
Mhm.
compared to other NBA superstars, Jokic, in my opinion, has the worst whistle. Like that offensive foul call in game, not yesterday, the game before that, when what's his name was guarding him, Jalen Williams.
Oh my God, that
That
was
was one
so
of the worst calls I've ever seen. And again,
that
to
was
what I was
awful.
saying, there's Shea fans that genuinely think that was the right call. I'm like, wow, like you guys literally aren't watching the same game. It's crazy to me. Like we're watching the same thing, but we're not really. Like there's people that genuinely think that was an offensive foul. They're like, oh, Jokic jumped into him. It's like, dude. He tried to swim around because he was
Mhm.
being held, right?
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
guy was still holding him, right? He's showing the refs. He's like, why are you not calling this?
Right.
Then attempts to cut,
Yeah.
and the guy's just blocking him with his arm. And then
Blatant
somehow he
proposal.
gets an offensive foul call. I was like,
Right.
I literally got up from I was at a restaurant. I got up from the table. I was like, oh my God. Like I'm literally yelling at the TV and everyone's looking at me. I'm like, what is that call? It was
Right.
horrendous.
The thing too that's funny about Jokic is he's so good if he gets below the free throw line that
Yeah.
it's bringing up an interesting sort of new set of gray area in the rules regarding impeding on the offensive player's
Oh
movement,
yeah.
right? Because so what the strategy, if you guys have seen, that teams are using against the Nuggets to try and stop Jokic however they can is whenever he gets in the half court, they try and impede on his ability to move
Yep.
by
Yep.
getting underneath him
100%.
as much
100%.
as possible. So here's the question. Although you're entitled to your cylinder as an offensive player, the question is, are you entitled to move freely on the floor? Or is a defensive player allowed to impede on your ability to move by just stepping in front of where you go?
Yeah, yeah. That's been happening a lot. They are really trying to rough him up and be physical with him, to be honest.
Right. And then at what
He's way
point
too big. Like once he gets it anywhere close to the basket, like
it's over?
dude's like 260, 270, insane touch, just
And that's
bounce
why
it
they're not,
off. You just
yeah, and that's why they don't give him foul calls because he would be overpowered. If you were to
That's true.
call every time he gets fouled, then he would just score 40 every night and it would be shit and they wouldn't want to watch. And I don't like that. You shouldn't be nerfing players. If someone's dominant, then within the rules of the NBA as they are, let them be dominant until they're gone, right? Like Hack a Shaq, for example, right? He was dominant. They had a strategy to beat him, but it was within the rules. Okay, sure. But this, when you're impeding on Jokic's movement and you're preventing him from moving freely as an offensive player and you're entering his cylinder, which they're all doing,
Yeah, yeah.
you're in his cylinder preventing his movement. Because if they weren't and it was a bump where two players meet, he's going to win that bump. So they get into his space in his cylinder
Mhm.
beforehand, and that is against the rules, in my opinion. I don't understand that they're letting everything go. And I like that it's been a physical playoff because it's really been fun, competitive basketball. But at the same time, you got to let the players play within the rules still, and they got to cut down
Yeah, I
on that.
mean, I'm all for it playing physical. I
Yeah,
prefer it.
me
But
too.
again, it has to be balanced on both sides. Like you can't allow all this pushing and shoving against Jokic because he's bigger. And
Mhm.
then Shea just comes in, does some bullshit, flail the arms, and then it's a foul every single time.
One little thingy. And here's the thing, refs and basketball players in general will prefer to call a foul uh, on an arm going to shoot a ball saying, oh, he would score if he doesn't get fouled there. And
Yeah.
they value those over the fouls in the possession where players are trying to get to their spots like Jokic. And it's like, I sort of understand because the idea is that foul prevents basket, but the truth is that foul on Jokic when he's trying to get to his spot is also preventing a basket, just not immediately,
Yeah, no, I agree. I
right? So,
that.
what do you say we get into some topics here?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about star guard versus star big, and
Banger.
what would you rather have? Let's say you're a GM.
If I'm a GM and I'm trying to win a championship and I'm picking to trade for or whatever, and we're assuming the rest of the team is just random
No,
NPCs,
yeah, exactly, yeah.
right? Uh, Stargard. For me, it's
I would
Stargard.
agree. I would agree for the most part, but again, I think it depends on the big.
Of
For
course, of course.
example, for example, Jokic. That's
Right,
not really like when you hear big man, you're
right.
thinking more like
Back to basket,
Shaquille
post
O'Neal.
ups.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And here's the thing. If it's that, then I take a guard. But if you have a big man that can be a hub, right? And that's what my coaches call fives who play with the ball in their hand because guys run off them like a screen and like
yeah,
a
yeah,
hand
yeah.
off, right? So that's a hub. I'm taking a hub big man like Jokic who's coordinated to pass, shoot, and go play back to basket over a guard. But if it's a back to basket center, post up guy who you have to get a post entry in if you
Hmm.
want him to be effective, then I'm taking the guard because guards can score on more places on the floor, and that's just valuable in the playoffs. Like take it like what about this? If Shaquille O'Neal in a playoff series versus Jalen Brunson in both in their primes, you're more scared of Brunson because he can score in more places with the ball. Shaq, you couldn't give it to him until he's under the basket, right? That just makes offense, like for a coach even, just more difficult to play through your best player.
Yeah, no, I
That
like
would be my explanation. What do
now
you think?
how would you guard each player starting with Jokic? Right? Because I think
Uh,
both have been clearly the two best players in the series, and obviously the main guys on each team, both extremely hard to guard. But
yeah.
assuming you're the opposing coach, what would you do?
I would completely forget about trying to stop him. That's my number one. So my number one thing is I'm going small.
Mm.
And I'm putting a shooting big man who's like a four, like a Jalen Williams, but just like hoping Jalen Williams can hit threes. And then what I'm doing is I'm not gonna double. I'm gonna make him play hard with that impeding on his movement strategy by gassing him out. But I'm gonna focus on trying to outscore the Nuggets and deal with one-on-ones where he's scoring twos, right? So we're not going to double. We're going to let him go to work on a smaller player who's going to play as hard as they can, but that smaller player is going to run the floor every single possession, sprint the floor, make Jokic work, and that dude is also going to space the floor and force Jokic to play defense in space and have to guard close out on a shooter. So my thinking would be you can't stop Jokic. There's no game plan to stop Jokic, and these NBA teams are talking about, oh, give him a dose of a bunch of different coverages and a bunch of different defenses. You can't give them the same thing over and over again, or it's too easy for them, and that's true. So of course, any game plan we'd give isn't comprehensive enough. But I think that the strategy is just try and outscore them. I'm just putting a guard,
I
a
like it.
smaller player who can just shoot the shit out of it and run Jokic into the ground by just sprinting the floor and getting easy transition ones. That's my only strategy. You can't stop him.
Yeah,
What, what do
I
you
I
think?
like it. I like it. I think I would. I don't mind it. I think it's
Uh-huh.
not bad, but I think I would do the complete opposite. I think I would double him as much as possible and
Mhm.
force the role players to win the game for them. Because I think from what we've seen so far, their role players are inconsistent, right? They're
100%.
already right now doubling off of Westbrook. because that guy can't hit a shot to save his life,
Goal
right?
in a
And
challenge. Yeah.
MPJ's got the shoulder injury. He
Right.
can't hit the side of the barn. Apparently, can't lift his arm above his head. That's what they're saying. I
Oh
don't
my
know.
God.
Murray's one of the most inconsistent secondary stars we've ever seen. One minute he's prime Jordan, next minute
Yeah.
he's Ish Smith. Like
Yeah.
this guy,
And don't you dare put a Canadian maple leaf on his jersey, otherwise he
yeah.
turns into Tony Snell.
Oh yeah.
He's
And then
brutal.
Braun, same thing. Can't really make a shot either. Shot definitely needs work.
Yeah.
And then Strother, Julian Strother last night out of nowhere got a DNP in game
Yeah.
5, then explodes for like 15 points last night out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Obviously, that stuff's hard to account for.
Yeah. And
Like,
Peyton Watson, same thing. It's hard to account for. Maybe they go crazy, but that's the risk you'd be taking with
exactly, right? Like, I'm wondering what was on that scout for Julian Strother that night, like DNP game before. And
right.
then they're probably just in this game, like, fuck, we did not account for this at all. But it's
Right.
one
He
of
just
those
starts going
moments,
crazy.
right? Like, honestly, same thing even with the Warriors, too. Like, I think they don't go deep enough into their bench at times. Like, if MPJ actually has this shoulder injury and it's that
Oh,
bad,
get him out of here.
dude, get off the floor. Like you're not
Next man up.
like yo, respect to you for trying to push through it, but you're just
Mhm.
shit right now. Like you're doing
Yeah.
more harm than good. Although
Yeah.
I respect the attempt.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. You're trying to play through it. That's good shit. But if you're gonna be poo, then just get off the floor. Let someone step up.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Moving on to Shea, how I'm guarding Shea. He cannot come off of any ball screen one-on-one downhill. Absolutely not. Obviously, I want to say, oh, play in a drop, like a free throw line drop and just be really aggressive going over top to not let him shoot threes, force him into the mid range, all that good stuff, like efficiency wise. But I think he's just too good at hitting mid range pull ups. I think he's
Yeah,
too good at it. And like,
it's very good.
on, I see both sides, but no, I'm not letting him come off a ball screen one on one. I would blitz every single ball screen, right? Two to the ball every time. Make him give it to Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren rolling, and then live with the potential that they are going to put on a playmaking masterclass. Don't let those guys score. Make them passers. Lose to that. That would be my take. What about you?
Yeah, I think I would do the same. I think similar to what we were saying about Jokic, I think you would rather the role players win or lose the game for them as
Mhm.
opposed to Shea. I mean, like
Yeah.
even what's his name? Jalen Williams, the other one, the better one
Yep.
last night.
Yeah.
He was awful. He literally couldn't do anything.
Yeah. Sometimes it's
And then
almost like
sometimes, he's gonna go out and get you 30,
right. It's weird. It's
right?
weird
So
how
like I think obviously the role players are more inconsistent than Shea or Jokic.
right.
And there's certain points with Shea too where he just he's so hard to guard downhill,
Yeah.
especially because he's elite at drawing fouls and obviously has the in-between game.
Yeah.
That it's sort of just almost
You're
impossible to guard, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think that anyone is like athletic enough, like in the league. Like he might have the best set of knees we've ever seen. You know what I'm saying? Like that stop and start and
Elite deceleration.
deceleration and just change of direction while going downhill. He's
Yeah,
got the
yeah.
bump and the chicken wing and
Yep.
the so many different tools. Like there's just no way to stop him. I think that we're both saying the same thing. OKC, I'm letting the role players win. And then Jokic, I don't even, bro, it's so hard. It's so tough. It's really difficult. But yeah, game seven, coming in.
Yeah, game 7. Let's talk game 7. Who you got?
Oh man, Nuggies.
Yeah.
Nuggies and is the best player in basketball. You can't bet against the best player in basketball.
Also, I think the championship experience plays a part as well.
Most definitely. I think that we've seen a couple times end game where Shea will either give it up and let a role player do something, and you're like, what are you thinking there? Or he'll sort of go quiet.
Sometimes he
I've seen
forces too.
that too. Sometimes he'll take a bad shot, something questionable, and sometimes he'll try and do the foul baiting on last plays. And refs swallowed their whistle because they don't want to
Yeah,
decide
that's
the game on the
definitely
last play.
true. Yeah.
And he'll foul bait. One last thing though, I wanted to also address. Wait, actually, no, sorry. Who you got game seven?
I got
Nuggets, right?
nuggets. I got nuggets. Nuggets.
Yeah, got to be Nuggets.
I think.
Last thing.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, you know what? You go ahead because this is a different point. So go ahead
Gotcha.
about game seven.
No, I was just gonna say. I think another thing for me is
Hmm.
Jamal Murray, like he has proven himself in the playoffs before. As inconsistent as he is, without a doubt, he
Right,
has proven that he's capable of being that go-to guy down the stretch. And obviously, we know the playoffs are a whole different beast. But I
right,
think the OKC, they don't have a secondary player that can do the same thing, right? Like,
right.
let's say Jokic, maybe he's in foul trouble, maybe he's having a bad game,
Uh-huh.
maybe they're doubling him, whatever the case may be, and you can't go to Jokic.
You go to
I
Murray.
think Murray has shown to have what it takes to get them over that hump in the crunch time. And I
Right.
think on OKC's side, if Shea is in foul trouble, having a shitty game, whatever the case may be,
Can't go to
who's
Chet.
that second guy that you can lean on,
It's
right?
Chet, and
Chet
Chet on that
Holmgren,
dude. Yeah, yeah.
right?
The witch beanstalk.
Alex Caruso, like they have some great role players without a doubt,
Yeah.
for sure.
So many medium caliber guys.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're a deeper team than Denver, but Denver
Uh-huh.
has first and second players are better than
Right.
OKC.
Yeah, and Denver has to make a point in this game seven of attacking SGA on defense more because you got to try and get him out of the game. Like, make him play on both sides of the ball as
Yeah,
much as you can. And, like, I know that, they'll go in the NBA right now, like especially in the playoffs, I'm noticing I feel like they're running a lot less, more intricate shit and getting just a straight ball screen, just two-man game more so in the middle third. And it's because I don't know what exactly the explanation is. I think the players are just so talented at scoring, they don't want to overcomplicate things by forcing them to make too many reads in action. Maybe just playing in more space is just the way the game's going with how good guys score. But I feel like, with that being said, if you only have one action on the first side being a ball screen, you can let SGA hide in the corner with no penalty and make him not play defense. I'm not seeing a lot of ram screens. I'm not seeing
right. Yeah,
as much things forcing SGA to be involved defensively and maybe get him in foul trouble, maybe take him out of the game.
I like it.
Otherwise, I mean, yeah, Nuggets in seven, big yo, monster, can't stop him.
Well, was that the other thing that you wanted to say?
It was. I just think it's interesting. I wanted to hear your thoughts on that, and if you even agree that just like in the playoffs and maybe even in the NBA this year in general, you're just seeing a lot less consistent come down the floor, bunch of actions, a lot of different stuff. Like I remember I heard Van Vliet talking about, oh yeah, man, you gotta be prepared to guard the second and third action being really complicated. They're going flex to Spain to, you know what I mean? And that was 2019, 2020. And then nowadays, I think the Celtics have changed the game to be a little bit more simplified offense to really ball screen five out
Yeah.
more so.
No, I definitely have noticed that too. Even with the Nuggets, I would say there's been a lot more post touches to Jokic. And
Yeah,
he doesn't really like catching it on the block. He
no,
catches it more in like the mid post area. Um, I think he just likes more space to operate and allow guys to cut in behind him.
right.
But yeah, a lot of times you'll see Jokic posting up on one side that's completely empty.
Yeah,
And then you have guys like Westbrook, complete non-shooter. He'll cut through. what's his name, Brown or Aaron Gordon will be in the opposite dunkers, and it's just
Right.
like that. I think is really, really, really pretty stuff, and obviously it's hard to guard Jokic one on one.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I would definitely agree. I think there has been a lot less complicated action than we're normally seeing.
Right. And do you think that that's hurting the offense? Like, do you think the
No,
offense would
no,
be better off
no.
if they ran more shit?
I don't think they need to be honest. Like just a simple ball screen, create whatever coverage you're trying to create. And
Yeah.
then from that point, it's just about making the right pass. Wherever the tag's coming from, bang, there we go, wide open shot. It's just a matter of making those shots.
Right. It's true. And that's the thing. If they weren't getting open looks, then I would say, hey, maybe let's try and get more advantages through action. But they get the looks. They just got to knock them down.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Like even OKC last night, they went on a stretch. They missed like 14 straight threes in a row. They were getting open looks, but it's a make or miss league, as they say. And obviously,
Absolutely.
spacing is everything as well.
Yeah. I think we'll probably call it there just because, you
Yeah.
know, we got to let you guys watch a little basketball too. We can't do full breakdown. I know you guys want to just look at our faces instead of the league, but we'll call it a day on that. Thanks for joining us. Cam, anything else for the viewers?
I think that's it. We got game 7 on Sunday. Go Nuggets, of course.
Yep.
Hopefully they
Uh,
win. They should. Jokic Masterclass incoming.
yep.
And we'll be back same time next week.
Yep. Thanks, everybody. Check out the reels. We're on Spotify now with the podcast as well.
Spotify. Yep.
Go check that out. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.